You have reached the Geek Elite. Good luck.
Well, let's get into that journey into mystery. That's right. This week, we are talking about The Incredible Hulk Returns. Not to be confused with...
Return of the Incredible Hulk.
That's right, because we already did that one. This is 1988. This is... was it 6 years after the series was canceled? So the Incredible Hulk went from 1979 to 1982, I think. Let me go check on that. But they decided to come back after so many years because it was just a super popular show. Like, I guess at the time, it was 1977 to 1982. So they did 5 years. They did 5 seasons. But I get, according to some of the things that I read, in 1988, TV shows were doing a whole reunion thing and making up new movies to go with that. It all sounds very familiar, but they decided to make 3 new movies having to do with Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno, Incredible Hulk. This is the first of those 3.
And even all these years later, it's still charming.
Before we get into it, let's go ahead and introduce our guest. Our guest this week is Garrett.
Hello.
Hi, Garrett.
How did you find The Incredible Hulk Returns?
It wasn't as good as I was hoping with all that you guys set up with the other Hulk movies. It seemed... I mean, we get our first buddy movie. We got our first team up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. The first one?
This is the first time that 2 Marvel characters showed up in the same movie.
And it just seemed more like a setup for a Thor series than it did a buddy movie.
Hey, don't jump ahead. That is a part of what we're going to talk about later, because that's exactly what it was. It was a pilot. It was a backdoor pilot for a Thor TV series. But before we get into that, Let's do a little recap on WandaVision. Like we had the series finale. The episode was called the series finale. Like, how did the both of you enjoy that show, the series finale?
I'm still holding out for a secret 10th episode.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh, I'm going to check tomorrow one way or another, tomorrow at like midnight or 1 o'clock, whatever it is, just to be like, maybe, because there was the whole thing about like an entry error or like somebody was booked for like 10 episodes on IMDb or something like that. So I'm like, perhaps. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the show.
I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I don't know if anybody else listens to Fat Man Beyond, Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin's podcast, but they had Matt Shackman on, the director and showrunner of the series, and he had a lot of great insight into like the thoughts of what they were trying to do with the show and what they decided. So if you get a chance and you like more information that we're not going to give you, go and listen to that podcast. But like it, I mean, as everybody's come to see that the show was all about grief and trauma, like having to process through that, all the stuff that Wanda has gone through in her life, losing her parents, losing her brother, losing the love of her life, all that came to a head when, she saw the dead body of Vision on the slab at Sword. She had found a deed to a house at one point, went to where the house is supposed to be, and created her own dream world.
And it was just like the whole series itself was tragic until the last episode, and then it was like, optimistically tragic, if that makes sense. Like, it gave me one of my favorite moments in the MCU to date. And that is Vision talking to Vision about I require elaboration.
The ship of Theseus.
Yeah, that whole conversation was fantastic because it's like, all right, we know how each other fights because we are the same person. So no one's going to win this. It's now just a battle of logic. And it's like, all right, I like the way that you took that because it was tense until it turned into like mutual understanding. And that's where like Hex Vision got closure.
That's right.
So like, I enjoyed it. That's one of the best moments in the MCU in my opinion.
Hex Vision being the all white, or
the Hex Vision being the Vision recreation, the one that Wanda made.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they
go ahead, Garrett.
go ahead. No, go ahead. You, Mitch. You first.
I was just gonna say, just because the Vision said, my prime directive is to destroy the Vision, and he's like, well, wait a second. Which one of us is the Vision in your mind? And he's like, wait, what?
Right.
Just
Both
coming to the
neither.
conclusion. Yeah, just coming to the conclusion that we're both Vision and neither one of us is Vision. Like, kind of, you could just see it like, damn you, and then he just flies off.
That means we get more we get more Vision later on.
That's right.
Yeah, I just kept waiting for them to merge at that point, and then we'd have one Vision. And when the wall came through, that he would just be standing there with her. So then, give her that little glimmer of hope that maybe her children were still there.
Aw.
I mean, that would.
I don't know. I'm evil like that.
That would be the hope in a, especially for a Disney property. But like, they went with the darker, like, oh no, she's on a path now.
Yeah.
With her like in the cabin all Wolverine style, or like Edward Norton Hulk way up in the north somewhere in a cabin by herself. She's just studying. Is she going to be a bad guy now? Are we going to get like bad guy Scarlet Witch, like villain Scarlet Witch?
I mean, it is a bad guy
It
book.
reminded me a lot of Thanos at the beginning of Endgame when he's just alone in his cabin.
That's true. I never thought of it that way.
There's so many cabins in the MCU. Like just everybody, I gotta go away.
I saw so many people be like, "Oh, did she go to Tony Stark's cabin?" I was like, "No, that doesn't look anything like Tony Stark's cabin from the beginning of Endgame."
Not even a little bit.
Was it a lot like the cabin in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from season 2? Season 1?
You're going a little too far back. I don't remember what that cabin looks like. To me, it looks a lot like the Evil Dead cabin, but that's just me.
Right. And I didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it was just, I didn't have means at the time, and now I feel like I missed the boat on it.
It was broadcast.
Yeah, I didn't have cable at the time.
You didn't need cable. It was on
over
the
the air.
air. But you
well, I didn't have means of like actively watching aired TV is what I meant.
you have Disney Plus. You can go back and rewatch the whole thing. I suggest it.
Maybe. I'm really
We're all
bad at
Agents
watching
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
TV.
What was that?
So we're all the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Disney Plus now?
Yeah, I believe so. ABC is owned by Disney.
Right on.
So
So
yeah,
I'll look into it. I'll look into it.
Get past the first half of the first season, and I think you'll enjoy it. Once you get to the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider season, like that's probably the best season.
And what about after that?
After that I still enjoyed it. It's just not as good.
I still got to catch up on the last season. It's the only reason I'm asking.
Bringing up Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's where we first saw the Darkhold, and the book shows up again here. Doesn't exactly look like the same book. And according to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider was supposed to have taken it and put it into another dimension. Is this the same Darkhold? Is it like is the Darkhold multi-volumed? I don't know. Because technically those shows are supposed to be taking place in the same dimension, same timeline, whatever you want to call it. So it's interesting that the Darkhold showed up again.
there was the whole thing. I've seen multiple people talking about it. They're pointing to the Darkhold, being like, "That's the missing book from the library in Doctor Strange, because in all the restricted books, there's one that's missing. Oh my god, that's the one." And I'm like,
I did see that too.
I'm on board. I'll allow it.
I mean, if any place a Book of the Dead, or was it Book of the Damned that she said? I don't remember what she said. What Agatha says. If anything, it would be in the Sanctum Sanctorum, right?
Right. I'm just excited with what all this implies, especially with the kids like screaming for her at the end. Then she was like, "Hold up, what?" Like, Mephisto is right around the corner, right? We can all agree on that.
Definitely some type of ancient underworld evil. Like, if not Mephisto, just because they don't want to use the name, it's going to be some kind of version of that.
Would this be leading into the next the multiverse of madness?
Yes, the
Doctor
multiverse of
Strange?
madness. I think that is definitely leading into that. Like, they are leading heavily into magic users, and where else would her kids be if not another dimension? What else do you think that means going forward for the MCU? Just from these characters, do we see Agatha again? Where do we see the Vision again? The all white Vision.
I 100% think that we see Agatha again. Because there's only so much studying and learning you can do on your own. Like, Wanda's gonna get through that book and be like, I know more than I did, but like, all right, come here, teach me. So we might see Wanda and Agatha hang out. We might see, we might see like Doctor Strange show up and be like, all right, this is some crap, and let her out of the whole nosy neighbor thing. Because, that's not okay. You can't mess with people's free will like that. Let her out and then be like, damn, I made a mistake.
So that was one thing that I kept hearing a lot of people talk about in podcasts and stuff, is like, was Agatha all that bad? And I'm like, you did see her kill a whole coven of witches, right? Like, she straight up...
They tried to kill her.
No, they were trying to bind her because they thought she was doing something. She's doing something bad. It's... like, she is stealing other witches' powers to the point where they're dead. She's not a good character.
Had they left her alone, that never would have taken place. So she was just acting in self-defense.
She was stealing powers before that point. Like, that's the reason why they had put her on trial.
Yeah, but it would have been a gradual thing. I mean, eventually the witches are going to die. So, she's just helping them along that path.
Oh, just the natural progression of death.
It just would have been a lot quicker for them.
The reveal that Wanda was actually throwing runes onto the hex walls. Like, who caught that early? I did not.
I didn't catch it.
Oh yeah,
I did.
You did?
Because I was like, all right, I understand that she's upset, but like, now you're just being reckless. Like, you're throwing big magic around, and it's just like, I'm probably gonna miss, but it's like, nah. And then as soon as it zoomed out real big, I was like, okay, I get it.
I didn't figure it out until they had the storm and they revealed the runes. That's what she was doing with that. Because otherwise she wouldn't have been able to use her magic at the time. It's like, those runes. She put those runes up early, and then she just allowed Agatha to use her magic. Like, oh no, it was all the stuff she was missing. I'm an idiot.
No, but that's what, like, when she was missing, I was like, why is she missing? That seems so odd that they would play it that way. And then they even have Agatha like look at her weird, like, ooh, that means something. But yeah, I would never have thought runes until they revealed it. But that just showed like how like in tune or quick to study Wanda is, because she picked up on how to do the runes, and then she also picked up on how to suck the magic out of someone else, like, kind of thing.
She's just the Scarlet Witch. She's she's pretty much just Magic Jesus. So like, at least the way that like the MCU is setting her up, she's just like, yeah, I mean, like, cool, I can do the thing.
Well, they definitely set up the Scarlet Witch as a title like the Dark Phoenix or the Phoenix, like the Phoenix Force. Like the Scarlet Witch comes in and destroys the world kind of thing. It's like, yeah, that's the same thing we say about the Phoenix Force.
But if they try to, in the MCU, if they try to be like, all right, so we're going to go ahead and do a Phoenix-based storyline, but without the Phoenix and with Scarlet Witch, I don't know if I'm here for that.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're not going to try. They're not going to attempt the Phoenix again anytime soon, like in the next 20
Dark
years.
Phoenix was trash.
Dark Phoenix was trash, and no one liked X-Men 3 other than me. So
I liked X-Men 3 for how self-aware it was.
okay,
That's about it.
Which one was X3?
X3 is the one where X3 is the one where Jean comes back at the beginning. She immediately kills Scott, joins up with Magneto's side, and there is a possible cure that is also happening, and Rogue takes it so that she can kiss her boyfriend, Bobby Drake.
Okay. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
One thing that I also thought was weird is that in Infinity War, we spend so much time with Shuri, like messing around with Vision and trying to, make it so that he wasn't tied to the Mind Stone. But like now with what happens in this show, none of that paid off. If that makes any sense. Unless what she was doing was making it so that his memories were stored in the rest of his carbon body, that like as Vision, as the good Vision explained, and then made the bad Vision like remember.
I don't remember how Vision got involved in Endgame. Like, I know we just watched it recently.
Well, he wasn't in Endgame. He was only in Infinity War.
Or Infinity War, sorry. Like, I don't remember how he got involved in Infinity War. Did he, like, me right at this moment can't remember. Was it like he dipped out in the middle of the process so it didn't finish?
Yeah. A little bit like that, yeah.
Because he was like, nope, gotta go help fight. And everybody's like, you idiot.
Essentially, he's just like, I can't wait any longer. And she's like, okay, go. And you don't know if she finished or not, but like she was working for a very long time. And she kept saying, like, because I believe her brother like was like, hey, how much longer do you need? 'Cause we kind of need the Vision. And she's like, just a couple more minutes. And then eventually Vision just takes off. And then he gets the stone ripped out of his head.
I don't know if you can still hear me, but I think my computer is in the middle of crashing.
Ooh.
Yeah, it looked a little choppy.
Yeah, my graphics card just got real loud and my monitors went out. So I'm sorry in advance.
Well, you can still hear us though.
Yes.
Okay.
For the time being.
But yeah, so the Vision takes off, and I did like the callback to Thanos ripping the stone out of his head when the White Vision tries to do it to the good Vision, and then all of a sudden he's like, nope, and he just like phases through that. I thought that was pretty impressive. It's a good move.
It's like, because like, why didn't he phase through it the first time?
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
I assume it's because at that point, Thanos had already had 5 stones, so he probably was able to keep him from phasing.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
Okay,
that would make sense.
I mean,
plausible deniability on that one.
Thanos by himself is pretty strong. Thanos with 5 stones, pretty undefeatable, as you could see. Anything else that you would like to say about WandaVision other than the praises that we've already given it?
I think making it WandaVision and making it the one season or the one series for the European listeners opens it up for a new chapter, calling it just Scarlet Witch as a new series. And I'm looking forward to it.
I think you're right. I think that's definitely what they're going to do with these shows. If most of them don't have a second season, it's just because it's not going to have a traditional second season. These are going to be a lot of the in-between stories that they're going to want to tell in between the bigger movies. So it will be The next time, if they decide, if they get Elizabeth Olsen to come back as Scarlet Witch in a TV series for Disney Plus, it might be called Scarlet Witch, or it might just be called The Vision Show, or you'll get Captain America and Bucky instead of Winter Soldier or Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of thing. Obviously, it leads into the bigger movie, as this one leads into Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, I think we lost Ian.
No, he's moving. I can see him.
Oh, there we go. Now I hear you again.
Oh, okay, good. Did you have any final thoughts on WandaVision?
No, I think I think I'm good on that front.
Okay. Going forward, let's talk about The Incredible Hulk Returns. As we've been saying this whole season, we are returning to doing the movies that were Marvel movies before the MCU. These are movies that are not a part of the official MCU, but we were still going to try and figure out what we can glean from these going forward in the MCU. This movie is the third movie of the Incredible Hulk, coming from the Incredible Hulk series, started in 1977. We have already talked about the Incredible Hulk and the Return of the Incredible Hulk. So now we're back to the Incredible Hulk Returns. Garrett, were you had you watched these Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby Incredible Hulk series before?
Yeah, growing up as a kid, when I got home from school, they were usually on. So I ended up watching them because that was on. It was Marvel superhero on TV. So how can you not, as a young child in the 80s?
I was a young child in the 80s, and I never watched an episode of the show until I watched it for this.
It wasn't syndication. So
No, I know it was syndication. But then again, I would have been 6 in 1988. You would have been 8 in 1988? Yeah. So we would have both been able to watch this movie when it was on TV airing for the first time.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch it. Why would I have not watched it, Garrett? Why would you have not watched it?
I probably did, because that was one of the things me and my dad did. We watched any Marvel thing or sci-fi that was on TV.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, I had never seen an episode of this before. Ian, did you ever watch an episode of this before watching it for this?
No, when it aired, I was 5 years before I was born.
You were -5.
I was -5 when it aired, so like, no. Before we started streaming, recording, all that right now, Mitch and I were kind of going over the schedule of the rest of the movies and looking at it. The only where I start remembering the Marvel properties is Blade.
Oh,
Which you said you were 4, right?
Yeah, Blade came out in 98.
90, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I would have been 5.
Okay.
So in my mind, Blade has just always existed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's always been Wesley Snipes for you, right?
Exactly. 100%. Asking, have you ever watched any of the Incredible Hulk? Nah, I know who Lou Ferrigno was. I had heard the name Bill Bixby multiple times. I had no experience with it whatsoever because it was outside of my scope of knowledge of existence, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yes.
Now, you've said that the other 2 Incredible Hulk movies that we've watched so far have been the best ones that we've watched so far. Now, is that because they're good, or just in comparison to the other Marvel movies that we've watched for this year?
So the first one was actually fun.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a I don't know what it felt like, but it just felt like they took a different story and kind of slapped the Hulk in there because they could. But it was fun. It was a good one. The second one was rough, but in comparison to the other movies that we've watched so far, it's the shiniest of the turds. And at this point, I think I might have just kind of developed a little bit of a soft spot for this, like these particular characters, because I thought it was fun and it was very charming. And this might be one of the most like endearing versions of Thor that we've had.
And what a weird version of Thor. Like, he's a genie essentially. Like Donald Blake finds the hammer of Thor, Mjolnir, and he just calls out Odin's name, and then Thor appears and is like, "Hey, what do you want me to do?" And in his, very American accent, and just does it, and then he says Odin again, and poof, he leaves.
But Thor can say Odin as much as he wants.
Yeah, I mean it's not Shazam rules, so to speak.
But
So
like, oh no, go ahead, Garrett.
In the comic book, did he find the hammer? Donald Blake, did he find the hammer, or how was that? Because I know in the comic book he turned into Thor.
That's correct. Yes, Donald Blake is a doctor that has a limp. I believe it's from a war wound, but I'm not too sure about that. And he carries around a walking stick everywhere. And when he bangs that on the ground, he turns into Thor. Like, they are two separate people, which is interesting that they didn't do that with this, because Bruce Banner turns into the Incredible Hulk. So I don't know if they wanted it to be separate, so that people weren't like, oh, you're just doing the same thing over again. But honestly, I've never really read any of the Thor books where Donald Blake and Thor were the same person. Like, all the Thor books that I've read, they didn't even have the Donald Blake part of the duo anymore. Yeah,
like from where I picked up Thor, just very few and far between. I should put that out there. He's always just been Thor.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So just to see that they do that difference, it was kind of weird. It was kind of weird to watch. But for The Incredible Hulk Returns, this was supposed to be a backdoor pilot for a Thor TV series. Now, we have, let's see, Donald Blake is played by Steve Levitt, and Thor is played by
Eric Allen Kramer.
Eric Allen Kramer, thank you. I recognize
just on it with that name.
I recognize both those actors. Eric Allen Kramer is always is a guy that I've seen in a lot of things, and I'm always like, oh, it's that guy, like all the time.
When he showed up, I kept staring at him like, I know this guy. He's like, Little John.
Yep, Little John from
Men in Tights.
Men in Tights, you're right.
Oh, yep, okay. There we go. Now I have a point of reference to place him somewhere else.
And Steve Levitt is as Donald Blake. I know him from one particular movie. It's a movie called California Hunk, where he plays the nerdy version of the same character that makes a deal with the devil to be a hunk and have a California beach house and be popular and stuff. So the devil changes his body, makes him look into it, played by another actor, obviously. But obviously his soul is going to be gone by the end of the movie if the devil gets his way. So it was that's the thing that I just know that guy from, and I don't know why. It's just
I remember that movie. And I could never remember the name of that movie, but I saw his face. I was like, "Where's this guy from?" It's like, "Oh, he did this thing before," and I could not remember the name of that movie.
So it's like Infernal Nutty Professor.
Yep, it's exactly it. It's exactly it. So
I'll fund it.
To do those two in this movie was cool. Like, just to see that they were going to go somewhere else with this particular movie, or try to go somewhere else. Don't know why, because apparently this movie did really well, like ratings wise. So I don't know why.
Did this one go in the theaters, or was it just on TV?
I believe they did a theater release for it also, but it might not have been right away theater release. So yeah, I don't see anything, but I just remember when I was first looking up all these movies, They did say that they all had a theater release at some point. This might have been a theater release in only Europe, though. So, because that sometimes happens.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, they never ended up doing the Thor TV series, which obviously I'm okay with because it would have been a weirder version of Thor. I don't know if the people who were watching these kind of shows in 1988 are too happy about that or not. If they had, though, what kind of adventures would you have liked to see them go on? How different would it have been from the Incredible Hulk, do you think?
I want some like detective-y, like sleuthy adventures, but at the same time, I also want the episode where Thor has to teach Don Blake how to talk to girls.
Yes, you definitely want that episode where it's like, I can teach you to be cool.
But like, I want that episode. Actually, better yet, make that the whole series, where it's like Thor is just teaching, like Donald Blake is teaching Thor how to like live in a modern society, and Thor is teaching Donald Blake how to like be cool.
I mean, we kind of get that in the bar scene, right? Like we go off to the bar and he's like, I know the exact place I should take you for food, drink, women, and rough housing, essentially. And they get it. He gets into a arm wrestling match. He dances with women. Did they actually get into a fight? Like a little shoving match. Right?
He shoves one guy into a table and the dude's pants rip.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else noticed that. I noticed it.
I didn't, but that sounds awesome. And then he drank way too much, but that's because it's weak American beer, according to him.
Yeah, of course. So, also, like, I loved at the beginning of this movie, they did like the previously on the Incredible Hulk, like previously that was 5 years ago.
That's why they said previously, because nobody remembered.
I mean,
that was just the intro to the show.
But I really got it. No, it wasn't just. They actually showed. They did it previously because the whole like him living with that lady, I guess, happens at the end of the series, like 6 years ago.
You mean 2 years ago? According to this.
Yeah, according to this, it's only been 2 years. Like.
But that reporter aged horribly for 2 years.
Bill Bixby still looked good though.
Oh yeah. That was still Billy Bixby out there. Like, you ain't gonna mess with that guy because you won't like him when he's angry.
And and honestly, I think Frigno got like more defined in his muscle.
Yeah.
He wasn't as big, but he definitely was more defined.
Yeah.
And they got rid of that awful, like, Neanderthal brow.
They did get rid of the brow, but they came up with some more terrible freaking wigs. Man.
Oh, the wigs were tragic. The wigs were awful. Like, holy crap.
Yeah. I couldn't watch any of the action because I couldn't stop staring at the wig.
The scenes with Thor though, like, seriously made me think, like, were some of the stuff that came in the first Thor movie with Chris Hemsworth was like, were they like homages to this?
Oh, you mean where the Hulk is screaming at something and Thor's like, hey, are we still screaming at things? What are we doing?
That, or even the part where the Hulk is like running away from the exploding stuff, looks a lot like the scene where the Hulk is running through the helicarrier after the Black Widow. Like, kind of like, I don't know. To me, that looked very similar.
I'd have to rewatch Ragnarok, even though I've seen it 3 times.
Well, no, it wasn't Ragnarok. That was on the first Avengers movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why I don't remember it.
That's fine. But yeah, a lot of the things that they showed in this, it seemed very. I mean, I guess there's not a lot of places you can go with it that is not going to be similar in some way, but it did seem very familiar, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I will say, I think that the scenes that have Thor are the best scenes in this movie.
Yes, that guy was awesome. When sorry, I keep wanting to call him the actor's name, Donald Blake. every time he talked, I was like, "Shut up! I want to hear Thor."
Did you notice that every time the actor says Odin and does the part where he's calling Thor out or making Thor go back, like he makes the exact same face of like, okay, this thing is happening, and like it's like turn his face away from the hammer. I'm like, are you really?
Is he supposed to be getting shocked by the fake lightning that's coming down or hitting?
Maybe
That's the only thing I could think of.
But like at a certain point, wouldn't you just become desensitized to it? Where you're just like, all right, Odin.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, exactly.
But how long has he had the power or the hammer?
At least for a little while. I mean, like at least for a couple months, he had to get from whatever cold mountain that he was on in Norway back to the States, and he had called out Thor a few times since then, since he knew everything that was going on.
Okay.
I also thought that it was funny that like because there's the one time when they're trying to be sneaky about calling Thor out, and he whispers Thor, whispers
it's still
Odin,
loud,
and it's still loud, and he's just like Odin, just. But I'm also
by those same rules, different universe completely. Does like can Shazam whisper Shazam, or does he have to yell it?
No, he should be able to. As soon as he just says it, it should be enough.
So he could just be like Shazam.
Yep.
Well, okay. Then I'll allow it by those same rules.
Fair.
But the lightning would be a dead giveaway that Thor's on the way.
Well, the lightning's a dead giveaway that Shazam's on the way too. Right. Garrett, I am happy that you're on this episode though, because the lightning in this movie, and I always say this to Garrett because I don't know, Ian, if you've ever watched this show before, but the lightning in this and when Thor shows up and leaves reminds me so much of Sliders.
I love that show. One of the that needs to come back. Don't make a remake. I want to see a continuation.
Yeah, but you don't want a continuation without Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell's still alive, right?
He is, but like the show ends with him not on the show.
No. That last season did not happen.
Okay.
I strike it from history.
So
where him and his brother became one person, and they got rid of some main characters. What I mean, what's his name? Went on to be on Lord of the Rings. I'm assuming that's why he left the show.
I think that the show ended a little before Lord of the Rings.
Nah, he was working. At the time he left, I'm pretty sure he was working on Lord of the Rings.
Okay, that's fair.
So
here's the best part of the show.
I know what Sliders is, but I haven't thought about that in so long. That Mitch being like Sliders just like unlocked a part of my brain, I feel like.
I still remember one of the last scenes in the last episode of the first season when he goes to the gate. Oh, it doesn't squeak. And then the handyman comes out. He's like, oh, yeah, I rolled your gate. It's all good. He was home. They were home. The show could have, well, I didn't want the show to end, but it could have ended right there.
Because they finally got back home.
Yeah, that was, the first season was the best, even though it was aired out of order. But everything after that with the Cro-Mag, Time Slider, Time Lords, ugh, get out of here.
Hold on, the Doctor is in this show?
What were they called? Not Time Lords, sorry.
That makes it even better.
They were called Cro-Mags.
Cro-Mags, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't because this show and then Enterprise also had the Chrono War, whatever it was called. And so
it's the Time War. They all exist in the same universe. Everybody knows the Doctor. It's fine.
It's fine.
Sorry. You can't bring up Sliders. I'll hijack the show again.
But do you agree that was the same effect? Like it looked very similar to me.
Oh yeah, they all had the same template whenever they started using digital editing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here we go. Let's use it. It's free from the. Oh wait, the internet didn't exist. Oh, it comes with Premiere? I'm using that.
That's right. It's the free Premiere package of lightning special effects that came in on the disc. Yeah. So with that, we once again don't know. I don't know. I assume there is a Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk action figure out there, but do you think that there is the Thor, Eric Allen Kramer Thor action figure out there?
Give me 10 seconds.
If not, there's a serious marketing tragedy that happened.
Like, they didn't even use the Thor outfit that's in the comic books. Like, why stray away from that?
It might have been easier just to make this.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, but I can't imagine why. It's a chess piece but just different color than what they did. They went with like the furry one. They went with like a historically accurate looking like Viking instead of Thor from the comic books.
See, what happened was one of the special effects designers actually worked on like something that had to do with Vikings before this. So they just already had the armor and everything built. All they had to do was fabricate a new helmet that had like the little Thor wings on it. But yeah, that's it. 100%. Don't look into it. That's the facts.
What was the bad guy plan for this movie? Like, what was the villain's plan? Like, I kind of don't understand, but I kind of do. It had to do with Bruce Banner or sorry, David Bannon and his intelligence.
So, no, okay, we'll talk about this, but then I have another question that kind of branches off of this. Talk about the bad guys.
You mean the Cajuns?
The Cajuns.
Look, Ian, I'm just as Cajun as you are.
Right, with no accent.
No, he said, I guarantee. That's it. That's all you need. You're Cajun now.
Oh, my God.
He threw it in a couple times with some trucker elite speak.
But I want to answer Mitch's question before we get too far off, because I feel like this is a fun question. Were they just trying to turn the gamma radiation thing into a bomb?
I'm being sincere. I have absolutely no idea what the bad guy's plan was in this movie. Like, before the point where they kidnap Bruce Banner's girlfriend, I have no idea what it was they were trying to do with Bannon.
I had to rewatch this just to figure that out. So the younger brother of the owner of the company wanted some kind of recognition. So he hired these guys to steal this thing to show his brother that he's important too.
That's so convoluted.
It is, but
cool.
How is he going to get Thor his own series?
I guess. There you go. You're right. Which brings up another thing. Sorry, Ian. We're going to get to the thing that you wanted to bring up.
You're fine.
Once again, Marvel does the thing of, if you're a scientist in everything, because Donald Blake, they specifically say that he is a medical doctor over and over again, but yet he is there helping Banner like do computer engineering. Like, why is it that you know how to do all this stuff?
Because don't ask questions. Are you a cop?
Nope, I'm just a podcaster.
Okay, cool. Then we can talk about it.
You have to tell me if you're a cop.
Legally, you do.
Yeah, it's on the books. Just a real quick question so we can get to Ian's question. The Cajuns, is that anything in Thor's comic books about the Cajuns?
Nope.
It's just something they made up for this series.
Yep.
Or movie.
This leads into my question, because the Cajun's last name is LeBeau.
Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so
the main bad guy or the right hand bad guy?
I think it was the main bad guy, the one who was like in the truck with the walkie-talkie and everything like that.
You're right, Jack LeBeau, which played by Tim Thormson, which I've seen him somewhere before too.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's another one of those I know you from things guy.
You're talking about Mike Fouché, who's played by Charles Napier. He was in the truck with the radio.
Okay, then I'm thinking of the other one. Whichever one was named LeBeau.
Yeah, he was named
Yeah.
LeBeau.
The guy with the
Yeah.
racquetball.
Yep, the guy who's playing
Yeah.
racquetball.
Yeah.
Which I was waiting for them to say his name the entire time because I was like, hold up, is this like a Gambit angle that they're taking here? Like, what is this?
Well, when was Gambit created? I know he's had to have been created before this movie, right?
It was
I would
late
Google
80s.
it, but all of my monitors are off right now because of stupid computer things.
Gambit was definitely late 80s because that's when I started getting into X-Men, and he was there.
Let's see.
So, like, that was my confusion. I was like, are we getting like an X-Men angle here? Like, or at least like angry Gambit who's like, haha, I'll fight the Hulk. Like, what is this?
Remy LeBeau's Gambit's first appearance is in July of 1990. So this predates him.
Purely coincidence then.
Yeah, just because Cajun and LeBeau must be something that's common in that area.
Yeah, LeBeau's that's like Smith in New Orleans.
There you go.
All right. Then never mind. Disregard my question.
No, I think that's good. Maybe when it had to have been Chris Claremont that created Remy LeBeau, right? Like Gambit, like maybe he just remembered this show and he's like, okay, he'll be a part of the LeBeau thieving guild.
the LeBeau crime syndicate.
That's right.
It just seemed like they were trying to set up some kind of a bad guy for Thor to fight against for his series that never came around.
I mean, that's a possibility. I like that.
Because they popped up out of nowhere. They were never in the. Did I already ask this question? They weren't in Thor's comics.
No, they weren't in Thor's comics. To my knowledge, like maybe they did afterwards. Like I said, this was the first time that a secondary Marvel Comics character had showed up in a Marvel TV show. So what would be the other action figure you would love to see made from this movie?
Margaret Shaw.
Which one was Margaret Shaw?
That was the love interest.
Was that
Maggie?
Was it? I thought her name was something else. It was Maggie. It was Maggie.
It was Maggie.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he kept saying a different name when he was doing. However, I guess one of the thug bad guys in this, Barner, is played by Carl Ciarfalio, and he goes on to play the Thing in the never made it to anywhere Fantastic Four movie.
The one that we're gonna have to watch later.
Correct.
Okay.
Am I on that one?
I don't know. You might be. I think you are.
I think I am. I don't have the schedule, but
I don't have the schedule in front of me either. So yeah, Ian, do you have a action figure that you would like to have seen made from this?
Yeah, I want a McGee action figure that comes with a car that has a car phone that he can talk on.
So that was such a sweet car phone. It was so nice. But I also want to say a sad thing is the actor who played McGee. This was the last time he would play McGee, even though there's 2 more movies. He unfortunately, after this movie aired, he had a stroke and passed away.
Oh, that's actually unfortunate because he plays a very good character that you love to hate.
Yeah.
yes.
And you know, they always like he's always being evaded, like because Banner can never be seen by McGee, or else he's going to know that he's alive, and that's not a good thing. So like the 2 of them have never had a scene together other than in that first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least they had a scene together.
Yes, true. They did have the scene together when Banner's other love died.
Yeah, because McGee killed her.
This is true.
I mean, sure, it can be argued that it was manslaughter, but that doesn't change the fact that he killed her.
There was so much slow motion in this movie too. Like
Specifically around when Lou Ferrigno was on screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that about? Do you think they just didn't have enough footage of him as the Hulk and they just needed to slow it down?
They were stretching for time because the guy that played Donald Blake kept doing his lines so fast you couldn't get the whole story. So everything else had to be stretched out.
Yeah.
With the scene where he's sitting in front of the big red ball machine. I forgot what it was called. The transducer.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
They spent so much time on that scene where it could have been so much faster. The timer didn't need to be 90 seconds for him to sit down in that stupid chair.
Right?
And as soon as I saw the timer, I was like, oh, somebody's going to stop the timer. Of course. That's why you have a timer, so somebody can stop it.
That's right. It's exactly why you have that.
Chekhov's
that-
timer.
I like
That
that
scene was much longer than Donald Blake telling his story of how he got Thor's hammer.
I also like that he's like, I haven't had a incident in 2 years. The Hulk hasn't showed up in 2 years. So then why are you still working on a machine to get rid of the Hulk? Like, you obviously have done a good job of getting rid of the Hulk.
Because
he
Thor shows up
all the
and-
time.
Yeah, and because Thor shows up and is just like, well, you're puny and I'm going to break your lab. And then the Hulk shows up.
But it wasn't until like he was thrown into the machinery and got electrocuted that the Hulk shows up. The Hulk shows up. Like, Thor is sitting there pushing him around and nothing happens.
But that whole scene was so unnecessary because Thor shows up. He's like, I need a beer. I'm going to rip this computer apart. Why?
Right. Is there a beer in here? I don't know what a
beer is.
fridge is.
Another.
God damn it.
All right. So what is it from this movie that the two of you would like to either see or think could see in the future MCU?
I think we kind of got it with Thor and Hulk together in Ragnarok.
This is true. We did. This was very much, he's a friend of mine from work.
Yes.
Right. And I think Ragnarok is a good callback to this movie in just like the golden retriever energy that Thor puts out in both movies.
Yes. I like that. I think we need to see the return of the LeBeau crime syndicate. That's what I want to see in the future
But
MCU.
if we're gonna do it, we have to wait for mutants to come into play so our boy Gambit can be a part of it.
I mean, that's what you would
Yes.
see. You would see them trying to steal something from Banner or probably in the She-Hulk TV series. And then a little kid will come and join their gang, and they'll be like, okay, we're going to make you one of us. What's your name? And he's going to be like, it's Remy.
Right. It's Remy, and they're like, what do you do, Remy? And he's like, I blow shit with my hands. And they're like, what?
He's going to be like, are you Cajun? He's going to be like, guarantee.
They're like, that's it right there. He's
That's
one of
it.
us now.
That's money. Make that money. All right. Is there anything else that you'd like to bring up about this movie, Garrett?
I know I had something, but I'm lost right now.
I mean, were you did say at the beginning that you didn't like it as much as we hyped it up for you from watching the other two movies, right?
Yeah, I expected what you guys had said from the other ones to be this one, so I'm glad that you guys said it wasn't as good as those two.
Yeah.
Because I felt like if this is just like those other two, you guys have problems.
Oh, no. I will say it's not as good as the first one, but I think this one is my favorite of the three so far.
Ooh.
Really?
Yes.
I think the next one's going to be my favorite just because Daredevil shows up.
Well, spoilers.
I know. I'm sorry. It's called Trial of the Incredible Hulk. Come on.
Lots of people are loyals. Lots of people are lawyers, Mitch.
Would you go on to watch the other two movies, Garrett?
Which other two movies? The first two?
No, the next two.
Yeah.
We have Trial and then Death.
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm inviting you back for those movies, but I'm just saying on your own, would you go and watch those two?
Yeah, get out, Garrett. You're not invited back for those movies.
That hurts.
I know.
Yes, I after watching this one now, I feel like I have to just so I don't get anything ruined for me.
You mean anything more?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Ian, are you still looking forward to the next two Incredible Hulk movies?
These are the ones in the list that I'm actively looking forward to, because like the other ones, I told Mitch again before we started recording, I am patiently counting down until we get to the movies that I knew existed.
Though the production value, I think, on the 1990 Captain America movie is going to be
rough.
No, it's going to be good. The production value itself is going to be good. The movie is going to be rough. It's not going to be a good one.
I watched that one accidentally already.
That's right. You did say that. I think that you're going to have a fun time with the Fantastic Four movie, though, because of how campy and cheesy it is.
Oh, no.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because Mitch thinks I might have fun, but bring on Blade.
Yes. we can't get to Blade fast enough. This is true. Garrett,
bring on X-Men 2000.
Garrett, where can people find you online?
I'm on Twitter at rot_48 and twitch.tv or at rot48. Anything, just look for rot48, either with an underscore or space or no space. Anything in there.
And Ian, where can people find you online?
So you can find me over at twitch.tv/IanFlux, on Twitter at IanFlux12, and on Instagram at IanFlux. Usually we are streaming this. I don't know if we're still live or not. We're recording one way or another. So, come on by on Wednesdays because that's when we record. And other fun things that I had, but I forgot. Mitch, where can people find you? Also, I heard there's maybe a Patreon?
Yeah, that's right. But before we get into mine, make sure you go and watch Ian do their shoutcasting.
Oh,
is that what it's called? Shoutcasting?
It's called shoutcasting. It's pretty much sportscasting for esports. And I've been shoutcasting some League of Legends stuff over on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube with just the name Ian Flux, all one word. You'll see it's a beautiful picture of myself. And also over on Excellency, spelled with the letters XLNC, esports on Twitch as well. I just did my first cast with them on Monday, and I look forward to doing more.
All right. You can find me on Twitter. I am at Mitchipedia, GEM. GEM stands for Geek Elite Media. Come and tell me how wrong I am about the Incredible Hulk and why Lou Ferrigno is the best. The rest of Geek Elite Media is at Geek Elite Media on Twitter, at Geek Elite Media on Instagram, and Facebook.com/Geek Elite Media is our Facebook page. Check out archived episodes of this podcast and other podcasts on our network on our website, geekelitemedia.com. Our Patreon, as Ian mentioned, is patreon.com/Geek Elite Media. There is a lot of exclusive material there that you can only get if you're one of our patrons. And whatever podcatcher you're listening to this on, please rate and review us. It helps spread the word of our network. But until next time, this is Journey into Mystery on the Geek Elite Media Network, saying always remember to geek out. That was like the best sign out that I've ever had since doing virtual. Like, that was great.
Well, now we just need to get a timer.
This concludes our broadcast.